if you don't want to answer it because the entire answer's in the book, then we'll skip. But it's been long said that Vince McMahon was financially backing ECW to a small extent as he saw the promotion as a feeder system of sorts ever since, the territories disappear. Paul has only admitted to receiving $1,000 a week or a month. I think it was a week after Vince poached Too Cold Scorpio, because there was a deal with Tommy Boy Records where they would advertise for $1,000 a week during Too Cold Scorpio's entrance, and that was sort of like to cover the losses of the advertising. Is that the extent of it, or was Vince actually
Well,
subsidizing more?
Jim Ross. Now, see, I don't know the numbers because I didn't know he was working behind my back with Vince, which is a big underlying thread through the book too. But according to Jim Ross, he was making like some crazy number. I saw it written something like 75,000 a month or something like that, or 50,000 a month. He was getting. Jim Ross said he was cutting the checks, and that's in his book and on a couple of his podcasts. That Ross says they were paying Paul a lot of money on the table to keep the whole company afloat.
Per month, per week, or
Per, I, I wish I had that detail with me. They had it like not that long ago. Or someone else had brought it up, but he was paying him. I'd have to look it up. I could look it up in maybe like 5 minutes. But it was a crazy number that Jim Ross claimed they were paying him.
I think I've got the book somewhere as well. I'll find out for a later date. But did you ever meet Vince? Because I know there was like crossover storylines at one point, 96, 97.
Yeah, I met him one time when we did the Raw Invasion, where the whole company came out. But it was a brief, nice to meet you. And, just going through the line, so to speak. Hello, Dudley. Hello, Sandman. It's Todd Gordon. Oh, Todd. Nice to meet you, Todd. It's nice to meet you, too. That was it.
How did that all come about? Was that a Paul thing, putting a word
All
into?
Paul. I didn't want to do it.
Oh, really?
No. Our whole everything we have been saying for 3 years on television or 4 years is we hate the WWE. We're the anti-WWE. Their cartoons. We're real. They're shooting needles in their ass with steroids. We're just going out there beating the shit out of each other. We're the anti-WWE. Our fans are smart enough to know that if we show up there, that there's some kind of working relationship. We're not really going to truly invade another company's thing without going to jail. All of us be arrested. So they knew that. But Paul's attitude at this point now is his decisions to make, because I stepped away from that at 95. His attitude was this: more people will get eyes on our pay-per-view. And we get more eyes, it's worth it. I said, if we undo everything we stood for, then our loyal hardcore fan base, which is the one we can't afford to lose, we're going to drift off. It didn't really, but I was dead set against that whole WWE thing.
I like how WWF got Rob Van Dam and you got Brackus. Doesn't seem like a fair trade.
Hardly. But Van Dam always wanted the big stage. He always did.
Let me have a look here. I'm going to go straight into the. Oh, by the way, before I forget, did you ever watch WWE's version of ECW?
Not for long.
No.
I think Into the Mummy or whatever name once came out, I was done.
Oh, the zombie on the first one.
Yeah, that was it. That's all I had to say.
Did you watch the One Night Stands, the pay-per-views?
I did watch the One Night Stand. I found that I had issues about it, mostly with Paul. He was everything he does with thought. He's a brilliant guy. To the end, and I forgot to put that part in the book too, or maybe it was they cut so many pages out because I could have gone on like this. I could go on forever. At the end of the night, he takes the microphone to thank the audience and thank everyone. He says, "I'd also like to thank the guy who hired me in the first place, Todd Gordon." And before anybody could even react, and our cameraman Ron the phone. I thought, well, that was a fucking left-handed shot. How was that? Me and the cameraman? Is that the level of my contribution to the company? You who I hired and carried along and put you over in front of all the sheets. And everywhere I went, I put him over to legitimize him, including the wrestlers were wary. I mean, I gave him that springboard. And thanks to you and the cameraman. It was pretty well over by then.
Yeah. You could have thanked the guy who popped the corn as well. I mean, if it's
That,
if it's going to be put
well,
in
that's
that context.
I forgot to put that in the book. That was a moment that was like, wow, stung a little bit.
Mm.
It doesn't make me a hero. Don't diminish me either.
It's a shame. Yeah, why didn't it make the book? Because just it
It,
just
it may
went.
have been the, I don't know. Listen, that book was done like this. Sean hammered me for a year and a half to do a book, and I said, no, no, no. We had done a couple of DVDs together, shoot DVDs.
Mhm.
And I want to write a book, too much time. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't do it. Finally, I agreed to do the book. And what we did was, throughout the pandemic and whatever it was, for about 8 months straight, I would just Zoom with him like I'm with you and do what we're doing now. He'd say, tell me a story about the Sandman. And I'd tell him 30. And he'd roar and I'd roar. Then he'd have to go back and rewatch it, try to extrapolate any kind of a sense of order to figure out what came in what order and put them all chronologically. All I do is tell stories for 8 months, a couple hours one day, 6 hours one day, 2 hours one. Just went on and on and on. And out of that, as I said, I don't remember. I couldn't remember half the stuff that didn't get in there. He's got all those tapes, but yeah, I forgot. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Maybe he never asked me about One Night Stand.
Mm.
So I would have brought it up like you did. But that's what just sparked my memory.
Did during the writing or telling of all these stories and then being put into book form, did your opinion change on anybody that you worked with previously after you finally sort of sat there and thought about it 25, 30 years in the future and times past?
Um, Not really. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Well, I wasn't obviously for some people, but I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, and it's easy for me because I don't ever have to remember what I say because I just tell the truth. And you ask any person who ever worked for me, and there were tons of more than just ECW and more than just one wrestling company. No one will ever tell you I relied on them once, ever. No one. For one thing, you're afraid to lie on a guy 6'7", 350. But it's easier just you don't have to remember what you said. You just tell the truth. Or you say, I can't answer that. I don't want to talk about it. But you don't lie. You don't work these and this is the only business in the world where it's not called lying because you're working somebody. Well, no, you're lying to them. You're not really working them when you're telling them an outright bold faced lie. But whatever, case sera, sera.